Good afternoon, welcome back. This is Saima. If you haven't met me before, I'm a nurse from Southeast England. In today's video, I'm going to share about my personal experience when I got sick recently last week after Christmas. I think it was on the Friday night, Saturday morning. I had to go to ED, emergency department, because I was having pain in my stomach, and I'm going to share my experience and how I felt that it's not all right to be treated like that. Here in the UK, you need to when you go to ED, what happens, what are the waiting times, and how it affects your mental health. Okay, so this is all we are going to talk about in this video, and also the importance of your family members, your family around you. It's very important. This is all we are going to talk about in this video. So on Friday night, Saturday morning, around I think it was 3 or 4 a.m. in the morning, started to having chest pain. I wouldn't say it's chest pain, it was right in the stomach, in between the chest. So it was on my stomach, and it was really not sharp but pressing pain, just like something wrapped around your stomach. It was like that. So the pain was so strong, like I would say it was 10 over 10. So the intensity of the pain was very bad, and I had to go to ED. So like within 30 to 40 minutes, I couldn't bear the pain at all. So we ended up in ED, in emergency department. We went there, and then the nurses, they do your registration, like your arrival when you arrive in the hospital, isn't it, just to put you on the system. So yeah, so she took my information and next of kin details, and okay, she said, okay, you can wait in the waiting area. So we were just waiting in the waiting area. I was at work, and one of my colleague, he took me on the wheelchair to the ED department. I'm very thankful for him. I'm very thankful that he helped me in that time that I was in pain, really bad pain, and then he took me to ED. I'm really grateful. So like we just when we went there, we were just waiting. So after I think 10-15 minutes, they ask for they call me, and then they did my observations, vital signs. They also did an ECG because it was a stomach pain, and she said everything is okay, but I'll give your report, ECG report, to the doctor, and also your observation to the doctor. So after she said we need to, she came back, and the nurse came back, and she said we need to repeat an ECG. So I was thinking maybe something is wrong, because why they have to repeat? They only repeat when there is any problem, or the ECG was, the first one was not right, there was any abnormality. So I was thinking maybe something is wrong with my heart, because they said to repeat the ECG after 15 minutes. So all this happened like within 30 minutes. They did my OBS and ECG, and they asked me to wait in the waiting area again. So I was in so much pain I couldn't bear. So before going to ED department, I took paracetamol, but it didn't help. So she also asked me, do you want any painkillers? If your pain is 10 over 10, do you want to take something extra? I said, yeah, please. And she gave me ibuprofen. So I was on ibuprofen and paracetamol, but the pain was still the same. It calmed down, the pain calmed down a little bit. I would say, like, if it was 10 over 10 in the beginning, it became 8 over 10, but it was still the same, isn't it? So I was in so much pain, and they just asked me to wait in the waiting area. So it was already like in the already morning time. So from I think 2 a.m. we went there. So it was already 4 or 5, around 3 o'clock. They took my bloods, and she said, we'll do the bloods and see if there is an infection or any problem. So yeah, the bloods were done, and every time I couldn't sit on the wheelchair at all. I wasn't able to sit. I was like dropping my water bottle again and again, and my colleague was helping. He was so nice to me, very patient, and yeah. So after 2 hours almost, they did the bloods. Now all I was doing there in ED was waiting in the emergency department on the wheelchair. So I was in so much pain. I couldn't sit properly. I couldn't sit. I'm telling you honestly, I can't explain in words how painful it was. And then you need to sit in the waiting area. You need to sit on the chair in front of all other people who were waiting to be seen by the doctors. I know it's a hospital and they treat, I'm a nurse by myself, so I know that we use the triage system that we use, like if someone is having difficulty in breathing or someone having chest pain or something, we give them priority. But if you are in pain, I think even the stomach is an organ of the body. Yeah, I think it is. So stomach is an organ of the body as well, if we take heart, brain seriously, because our life depends on them. So I think stomach pain, and if the pain is that bad, they should have prioritized in somehow, in some ways. I don't know, like I was just waiting in the waiting area for 6 to 8 hours, can you imagine? And then they can only do something, you can only be seen by the doctor when your results are back. So results usually take 2 to 3 hours. So if they're taken my bloods around 4 o'clock, the reports were going to come around 6 or 7 in the morning. So all I was doing is waiting in the waiting area, crying with the pain. All the other people were looking at me. I felt really bad. I felt really ashamed, and I was just crying loud with the pain. Can you imagine? And then maybe there were like 50 other people waiting in the waiting area. I think if someone is going through bad times, the hospital needs to have some sort of privacy. I know they can't give bed to everybody in the waiting area. I mean, when patients are waiting for the results or waiting to be seen by the doctors, each patient cannot be seen, like all the patients cannot be seen at once. I understand that. But I think if someone is in that terrible situation that I couldn't sit on the chair, I was just falling down, my arms were falling down, I was feeling dizzy, my legs were not working. It was like, I don't know how to explain, but the situation I was in, the pain I was in, I was feeling shaking, my body was shaking, I was feeling dizzy, and also that I couldn't stand up. I was feeling like I'm just going to die. And that time there was no one around, no family member, no other person. I couldn't call my husband. I did tell him, I messaged him, but he couldn't come because I have a baby, and babies, he's 2 years, more than 2 years now, I think 25 months or 24 months. So babies are not allowed to enter in ED. So if he was to come, where he's going to live, where he was going to leave my son. I'm sorry, I'm getting a bit emotional here. So yeah, so I told him I'm okay, but honestly speaking, I wasn't okay. And I think he is the only he was the only one present in the country with me. So from my mental health, I was expecting him to be there, but there was no other choice. He had to be with the baby. Yeah, so I was still with the hospital staff, but he cannot leave my son. He couldn't leave my son alone at home. And if he was there in the hospital, he couldn't have brought my son inside. So no choice. So yeah, I think in that times, this is the time, bad times in the life. These are the times when you feel like someone from your family or your friends should be there with you all the time. In that situation, in that scenario, I felt so bad. I felt mentally I was broken for that whole night. Not whole night, maybe like almost 6 hours. I felt like these are the times when we need more support from the family. We need more help. Even if they're not doing anything, they'll just sit beside you. Just more than enough, more than enough. So if you are someone thinking to go like away from your country, these are the times where we feel like we are just alone here. There's no one to look after us. There is no one to take care of you. So for those 6 hours, I was just waiting and waiting in the pain, with the pain. There was no bed, no stretcher available. So with the pain, stomach pain, you can imagine sitting on the wheelchair for that long. So in the morning, what happened, my reports came back. The doctor said, good thing is your heart is normal. There is no problem with your heart. Your ECG was normal. They did a repeat ECG. The repeat one was also normal. So he said that we can't do anything if everything is normal. So I was like, I know, as a nurse, I know also if the reports are normal, they're not going to do anything. But the pain, I mean, I'm not a doctor, but doctors should have answer, isn't it? So he said maybe you have any something gastritis or any stomach gastric ulcer or something like that with the stomach. And in ED, they can't help with it. Okay, so I was given paracetamol and ibuprofen again, which was not helping. Around in the morning, the nurses did my obs again, and then they said, how's your pain now? And the pain was still the same. I was like, it's 8/10. The doctor came and saw me. He said, ECG, your troponin level, your amylase, stomach profile, liver profile, everything is normal, so I'm happy to discharge you. So I was like, okay, but I'm not happy to be discharged. I'm still in pain, and pain is really, really bad. It's pressing down on my stomach. How can I go home? Even if I go home, I'll be coming back, because if my pain is not okay, what I'm going to do at home? So he said, okay, let me check your reports again. He did an x-ray. He was very good doctor. I really appreciate his help. He was really good, honestly. So he said, okay, let me do an x-ray for you and see if there is anything on x-ray. So then I had to wait again for 1 more hour for x-ray reports. When the x-ray reports came, they were all normal again. So the problem was, there was something in my stomach. There was some sort of problem with my stomach. They gave me omeprazole, Gaviscon, which didn't help with the pain. So when the doctor came to discharge me, I wasn't happy to be discharged. I was like, there should be a solution, because the pain is there. I mean, there should be some sort of resolution to this, isn't it? So the doctor said, okay, I can give you morphine if you want. That's the stronger painkiller. Or we can try with cocodamol, which is codeine and paracetamol. I was like, okay, let's try that. Let's try, before we go for morphine, we can try the cocodamol. And I think the doctor was very patient with me. Very, very patient doctor, very nice doctor. And it was already like in the morning around 8:15 or 8:20. So he said, okay, let's give you a dose of cocodamol, and then we'll see from there. So they gave me cocodamol, like 60 milligram codeine and 1000 milligram paracetamol, and it helped with the pain. Honestly speaking, it helped with the pain. So I was like, okay, they did my obs again, and I was like, okay, the pain is better, I can go home. It was nearly 10 a.m. in the morning. So from 2 a.m. till 10 a.m. I was just in ED, sitting on the wheelchair. So yeah, so then they discharged me on omeprazole and that cocodamol, and the doctor said, we can't do anything about it, you need to follow it with the GP. So this stomach pain, I had it 1 year ago as well. It was the same kind of pain, and this was the second episode in my life. And yeah, he said, you can follow it up with the GP. But all I'm trying to say is, you can follow it up with the GP. That was Saturday and Sunday. No GP is there, isn't it? So on Monday, I called the GP, and she said, if you're feeling okay with omeprazole and cocodamol, you can continue taking them, and we will give you an ultrasound appointment in March. So now it's January, isn't it? This Monday, I think it was 1st, isn't it? New Year, yeah. So on Monday, this is January, I'm having stomach pain, and the pain is really bad. It's only controlled with painkillers 4 times a day, which painkillers are making me very, very sleepy, very drowsy. I almost fell on my son the other day. So if I don't take cocodamol, I'm in pain. I have an ultrasound appointment in March. So you know where I'm coming from. We are from developing countries. But if you are in trouble, if you are in pain, they do everything pretty quickly. They treat you. And now, I know it's not life-threatening emergency. Here, they treat life-threatening emergencies very quickly. But I think pain it's affecting my daily activities, daily life activities. So I think there should be a solution. As a patient, I'm not talking as a nurse. I know how the hospitals are and how we deal with the patients there. I mean, we follow the triage system, and if someone is going through life-threatening emergencies, they see them very quickly. But I think the GPs, there should be a way to expedite the procedure. The ultrasound appointment is in March. So what if something happens in between? Yeah. So I was having lower abdomen pain back in, I think, September and October. I think something is going on with my tummy. I don't know what it is, but so that time they gave me, so that appointment I had in September, I think October. And in October, they gave me appointment for ultrasound in January. So October, November, December, January, 3 months. So I'm still waiting for that appointment. So luckily the doctor said, okay, so in January you have an ultrasound appointment, but that's for the lower tummy. Now the receptionist from the ultrasound department, she calls like for a different procedure. Now they want to scan your upper abdomen. We can't do it on the same time. So they gave me appointment for March. That was the horrible night of my life. It was so painful to sit on the wheelchair. It was so bad, really bad. I was tearful. I was crying and crying and crying. All the people were looking at me, and then there was one person only, one of my colleague, which I don't know anything about. I only know his name. He's very kind, very hardworking man. So he was very, very helpful. I couldn't call my husband. I did message him. There was no family members. All I want to say is these are the difficult times when your family needs to be there. And these things can drain you mentally. It's been 1 week I didn't go to work because I was so stressed. I was so sleepy, drowsy with cocodamol. I haven't finished the medications even yet. But it feels so lonely, mentally disturbed, tiring. And I'm sleepy all the time. And I have a son. When my husband goes to work, I need to look after him. He's only 2. So I cannot leave him alone. Even if I'm sick, I need to cook, I need to clean, I need to do everything. Hiring a nanny is not easy here. If I go for that, maybe I'll be paying the same amount of money that I'm getting as a nurse. So that's not an option. If you have any family member around you, at least they can cook, they can clean the house, they can do your laundry, or they can look after your child. If I send my child to the childminder, it will cost me a lot. So if you're thinking to move to the UK, it's not an easy job. It is way too difficult for nurses. Everybody, they say that, okay, you are in the UK, you get good money. It's not really good. It's not enough. I mean, the bills, the council tax, the rent, everything you pay for, all your salary almost goes up there. You have a better lifestyle. I'm not saying country is bad or people are bad. Country is really good. Atmosphere is really good. Air is clean. Water is clean. Good people here. All I'm saying is, in these difficult times, hardships of life, you may get mentally broken down. You may feel like you are all alone here. Yeah. So I don't know what else to say. Yeah, I'm not demotivating you. It's only when you get sick, when you are well enough to work, do your job, everything, you are good. But when you get sick, there will be no one to look after you. There will be no one to look after your family. Or if you have kids, there will be no one to look after them. No one will be there to cook for you. Yeah, my husband was there when I came back home. He was very helpful. He cooked. He helped me with my son as well. But my son is very attached to me. So he's always with me. He doesn't want me to leave him alone at any time. So even if I'm sleeping, he'll be with me there. So yeah, it's hard, honestly speaking, it's hard. That's all for today's video. Take care. I'll see you soon in the next one. Take care. Bye bye. God bless you all.